When I record podcasts, I like to stay hydrated. Who knew talking could be so hard? My favourite drink to have to hand is Lifeline's Hydro OG. It's a tried and tested product for me. It helped me and my team complete a 24-hour podcast, giving us the edge that we needed to get over the finish line. So whether you're at the gym, on a bike ride, or just trying to get over that night before, Lifeline's Hydro OG has got your back. Each serving is stocked with all the healthy ingredients and vitamins you could ask for. There are a great range of flavours, and with each serving at only 18 calories, you really can't go wrong. Here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast, we like to support local, independent companies and brands, and Lifelines is a product that I am proud to endorse. Go to lifelines.com. Now that's LYFELINEZ.com to find out more. Now, without further ado, here is today's episode. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the, I was going to say the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast. Well, in a way, it's the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast, but horses and biscuits, and we definitely need to update that intro. I could hear a bit of an echo in the background. Is someone playing the show as we're recording it? Yes, we're live, and it's been a while since we've done this, but we're here today to talk about the different things that folks that are attached to Henry House are working on. I'm still hearing a bit of echo. Is someone playing the show?
Earphones, just in case it's me. Hang on.
That's okay. It's fine. So we're here to have a general chit chat, and we're here to speak to people that are involved with Henry House, Rocking Horse, and the different projects that they're working on. We'll also catch up with a bit of news with what Rocking Horse has been up to. But first, I thought it'd be nice to go around the room and for us all to introduce ourselves. I was going to start with Luke, but he's disappeared because he's trying to fix our echo problem. But Simon Fisher-Becker has been on the show a few times, but it's been a while since we spoke. If anybody doesn't know who you are, would you like to explain to people who you are?
Yes. I'm Simon Fisher-Becker. I'm an actor, and people know me mostly from Doctor Who. I played Derwen Moldovar, an intergalactic black marketeer, and some know me as the Fat Friar of Hufflepuff House. Others know me as Tony Pizzacoli from the comedy series for the BBC called Puppy Love. And I've been knocking around doing all sorts of other things as well,
yes,
including working with Rocking Horse Media, which is very exciting.
Lots of exciting things going on. The echo's gone now. Woo! There we go. We can give it we can definitely celebrate that because it makes things a lot easier.
There we go. Sorted now.
Yeah, you sound great, Luke. Luke, how are you? We haven't spoken to you in a while. You've been working on writing something that's attached to Rocking Horse and to Henry House. How's that been for you?
I've got a couple of different bits coming up. I mean, a lot of my stuff with Henry House at the moment is the production management. So that's what everyone else calls the boring stuff, the emails, the phones, the making sure everything runs smoothly. When they go to film stuff, I'm sat often at home waiting for a phone call where, say, I don't know, Gavin doesn't know where he's going. He'll phone me up and say, which door do I take? And I've got to answer that from several miles away. And that tends to be my job with that. But I've been writing a couple of other bits. I'm writing something for BBC Writers' Room to apply because that's open for the next month. I'll stay hush on that because, never know what happens. But I got a sort of sitcom comedy drama that I've just finished that you probably won't see unless I end up very, very lucky with the BBC, and then you'll see it then.
What is it like trying to get something commissioned? Is it like throwing a very small dart at a very big dartboard or a big dart? How does that work? Like, is it really that hard? to get some
In
commission?
this case, I think probably. So, to those who don't know, BBC Writers' Room is a 1 month period every year in which the BBC accept unsolicited scripts. Otherwise, you basically have to have written something for them already in order to be considered, which is a kind of catch-22 situation. But yeah, once a year they open out for a month, so it'll be myself alongside probably about 5,000 others with pilot scripts. So
I imagine that's a bit like a podcast post where someone says, "Everybody send in your links for your podcast." I've seen them before, and you're like, "There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links. Which one do you click on?" I reckon that's a great.
Occasionally
analogy.
that works. One of my favorite podcasts I discovered that way, but it's very, very rare. And so much so that I rarely contribute to them because I just feel guilty popping my link in and then not clicking anyone else's.
Amazing. We are getting a lot of noise in the chat at the moment, mainly because our other guest, Amy Jude, you have a friend with you, and everybody's really interested in your friend, Amy. Steve Williams says, "Hello, everyone. Yes, I hope everyone gets an introduction, including all company and paws included." Your puppy there is getting very popular. How are you, Amy? You good?
Has she got us switched off?
I think possibly there's a bit of a lag there. But let me explain. Amy is a student of performing arts from Derwen College. Who was spotted at a working shop and was offered a part on the spot because of how well she was. Now, Amy, acting is important to you, right? This is what you like to do. I heard some really good things about you at the workshop. And you were spotted and offered a part on the spot, which means you must have done a great job and you must have shone above everybody else in the room.
Gareth just put in the chat that Amy's having some sound issues that they're working on behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll come back to Amy, but I'll let you know that Amy is fantastic. She's also an award winner, so we will definitely circle back to Amy, and we'll definitely get an introduction on the dog. Have we got audio? Hi, Amy.
Yeah, it was technical difficulties. Hello.
We fixed it. Well done. Everybody wants to know what your dog's name is.
His name is Freddie, and he's only about 7 or 8 or 10. I forgot, really.
7, 8 or 10, that's funny.
He's a Yorkie poo, and he's very, very clingy.
Oh, well, he's welcome on the show, so he can walk in front of the camera as much as he likes. I was talking about the workshop for Henry House, and how was that for you? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, actually, it was a special day. I was in a good mood. I wore my tiara. They asked me to read a bit of the script. Then on the spot, after the class ended, they wanted to speak to me, and I was very nervous because I've never been around a group of professional actors before, and they said, "We would like you to have the role of Lana." And it was on the spot, and it wasn't like most girls or boys would, audition for a role like this, and I got it straight on the spot.
That must have felt really amazing. First of all, if somebody, if I go to something like that and somebody says, "Alex, we need to speak to you," I'm thinking, what have I done wrong? What have I done? So to hear that must have been really, really exciting for you, because usually things like this you have to audition, which is a really scary process. I think Simon can definitely attest for that. Auditioning is a scary process. So to be offered a role without having to go through that is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, effectively, the workshop was a sort of audition, but
Yes.
But normally a workshop is designed and then it's followed by a series of fuller audition process. But in Amy's case, she's an example of somebody that everybody thought on the spot, yes, this is the person we want to be involved.
Yes.
That's it.
Well done to
So
Amy.
many people have come out of the auditions, the workshops, who have been absolutely fantastic, but are still having to go through those extra stages as
Yes.
we find a character for them or everything else. I wasn't able to be at the workshop because I was stranded in Liverpool with train strikes. but I was hearing all the great things about Amy's performance, and the fact that basically they saw it and went, well, we're going to make a part for her because we want her on board that much, which is rare but incredible. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what she brings to the part of Lana.
Well, from what I've learned about you, Amy, and from what I've seen and read about you, because you're famous now, you're a national award winner. I think you're going to bring so much to Henry House, because you're very animated, very bright, and I think you really are going to offer so much. But we'll circle back to you because we want to speak to you about your award. But we're getting some nice comments in as well. Let's go to the comments. So Kate Harris, Karen herself is in the chat. She says, hi, Amy, Simon, and Luke. And Gareth says, we all know Simon, our very own legend. It feels awkward to say to someone that we know very well, can you please introduce yourself? Because I know you, Luke knows you, Amy knows, but maybe there's somebody watching it.
I recorded something recently where I went to the guest who I knew really well, and literally, for some reason, I said to them, tell everyone who you are and why they should care. That was
it can be two different things. You can either go, that's Luke, that's just Luke, or you can really go too much into it. And in the comments as well, Kate says, lovely pup, Amy. Long names. Abby is in the chat. She says, hi guys, also very cute dog, Amy. Dog's getting very, very popular. Well, that's the second technical issues. Steve, while you were sorting out your headphones, Amy, he said, hello, everyone. Yes, I hope everyone gets an introduction, all company and pause included. And Amy says Amy's sorting a sound out, which we did. And Gareth says he loved your tiara. And Lana, the character who you've landed, definitely needs a tiara. Do you agree?
Yeah, that was my Sleeping Beauty tiara. Everyone thinks I look like Wonder Woman because I've got, dark hair, and it looks like the crown of Wonder Woman. So they just figured, you look like Wonder Woman. But no, it's Sleeping Beauty's crown, really. Just because I don't have blonde hair.
Wonderful. Well, it definitely helped, I think. But I mean, if you've got talent, you've got it, and he definitely shone through. Joy says, well done, Amy. That's amazing. And Yvonne Ikar is in chat with a thumb up. Hey. And Abby says, I can't wait to be able to work with you soon, Amy. And Sarah Mahoney says, hey, everyone. Can't wait to finally meet you all and looking forward to working with you all. And Katie Jude Hudson says, hi, Amy. Right, we've got lots and lots to get through today because there's the Rocking Horse is working on so much. But what we're here to talk about today is the things that's going on around. Okay, we're going to do this a lot around Rocking Horse. People are working on different projects, some that spin off from Rocking Horse, some that don't. But we are very proud of the people that we work with. But first of all, I'm going to hand it over to Luke to talk about Penny for Your Thoughts, because this is something you've been working on, and I thought it'd be better for you to explain it than to me kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I mean, I once again, I'm in the boring field to everyone else of doing the paperwork for it. But we've Penny for Your Thoughts is a Henry House adjacent short film, which has been written by Anna Redding, who's a student at Derwen College, who's got a long-term work experience partnership with us at Rocking Horse. And so Gareth had the kind of brilliant idea of asking her about whether she wanted to make a short film and we could go through the whole process. And that is what's happened. She decided to set it within Henry House and to give it the theme of short-term memory loss, which is something she struggles with, that she's not seen represented properly in the media. And so for the past few weeks, building up, as you can kind of see in the photos if you're watching the video version, several of us have come in, spoken to her. She's met her composer, she's met her actors, she's met me, telling her about how paperwork works, which was probably not the most thrilling afternoon. But we've got this film coming together with Kate and Simon are involved, and Brooke Fleming, who also came through the workshop, is taking on the lead in Penny for Your Thoughts. It's
really important that everybody gets represented in the right way. I think that's fair to say. You know, when it comes to making films about inclusion, that include inclusion, it needs to be in the right setting with the right people. And I think Anna is fantastic. We spoke to Anna on a show a couple of shows ago, and she's very passionate about what she's doing. But this fits into what you're doing as well with Big on the Inside, right, Simon? This is all about letting people know that there are people of different types in the industry, and everybody deserves a shot.
Yes, I mean, the main purpose of Bigger on the Inside is to highlight certain disabilities which are not always seen. And in many cases, and talking to some of the people who are going to be involved, they themselves weren't aware that they had a certain condition and that they could actually get some help. All they knew was that they were a bit different, or people treated them differently. So as well as the usual physical disabilities, which everybody can see, we do focus more on well-being issues, and the thing that's come out as well is a lot of loneliness, which actually brings on other well-being issues.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of stories recently of, you know, actors suffering from aphasia, or, you know, Chris Hemsworth recently found out he's got a link to Alzheimer's, so he's making the most of life now. I mean, we're looking at things that you wouldn't necessarily look at someone and go, "Oh my God, he's got aphasia," because you wouldn't be able to tell if somebody's got aphasia or not until you see them struggle with lines. So it's good to.
Yes, it is very strange, because things like dementia or Alzheimer's, the first signs of it are not always obvious.
Yes,
and very often, it's other people who notice a difference, and you will know, particularly in the entertainment industry, the phrase that, "Oh, he's a real character," or "she's a bit eccentric." And of course, what it turns out is it's early onset dementia, which is very sad. It's entertaining for those, in a way, of observing, because they see the predicaments that people get themselves in and find it very funny, but they're totally unaware that inside that person is actually highly stressed. And I know myself, I've got to the age now, the classic joke, you walk into a room and can't remember why you've gone there. Well, that's becoming more and more prevalent. And recently, Tony and I very often stop off at a Costa. Is that advertising? Will that get you told off? But to balance that, I will mention Starbucks. And
or your local independent coffee shops, folks.
Personally, I'd get rid of the big chains and have independent coffee shops, but that's a completely different conversation. But on this particular occasion, we were heading for a Costa to find that the Costa was closed, so we went to a Starbucks. But I couldn't remember the term Starbucks. It wouldn't come to me at all, and I was saying, look, let's just go. And in the end, I just said, the not Costa.
So did you?
Right. Yeah. So now Tony and I refer to Starbucks as not Costa. And so I don't know. To be honest, a couple of years ago, I was a little concerned, but I passed whatever tests quite well. I got good scores.
Good.
And they at the time used the excuse that I'm a very busy person. And so maybe I should unbusy myself. Which, of course,
we were just talking about this before we hit record. It's nice to be available, but once you suddenly become super available, and then I've witnessed that myself. It's definitely the time for people to feel jolly, and people want to tell people how jolly they are. And it comes to the biscuit guy naturally. I'm kind of like, okay, let's do this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
There's the addict.
Sorry. I think as well, in this kind of entertainment industry, you're so terrified of not having work that you kind of have to stop yourself from taking everything. Like a few weeks before I left college, well, the months leading up to it, people were kind of like, do you want to come help on this project, help on this one? And I was just saying yes to everything because I'm like, I'm in demand. This is cool. And then I left college and I looked at about 8 projects I'd agreed to produce. And I was like, this isn't happening. And thankfully, everyone was very understanding when about half of them I went back to and said, I think you need to find someone else. Because it's just terrifying, the idea that you could have all of this. And 2 months later, there might be nothing. And so you've just got to have that balance of saying yes to everything, but also,
I mean, the other challenge is you do accept various projects that sort of pop, along the calendar, and you think that's great, but then suddenly each one of those projects is delayed for a reason, or has to be brought forward for a reason, or the script has to be rewritten, the locations have to change, whatever it is, and then suddenly they all want you in the same week. And so that's when you can get a reputation of being a bit divish when you're saying, there's only 7 days in the week, and you're all saying you want me for 3 or 4 days, and there's 4 projects. Help.
Gareth yesterday was like, can we organize a phone call? And I was like, I don't have 5 minutes to. We had like 4 things to do yesterday, and I was like, here, I was there, I was everywhere. Some of it was biscuit stuff. Some of it was, some of it was personal stuff, and some of it was podcasty away from the biscuit. But yeah, it's just mental sometimes.
It's also important to realize that rest is productive too. And that you need to schedule rest, because you can so easily be like, I'm not doing anything that day. I'll pop this on, I'll pop this on. And suddenly,
and also, you've got to remember that life gets in the way. Something else happens, and you've got to deal with it. And that can change.
It's about staying balanced, isn't it? And Amy, do you like to? Do you have hobbies that you do alongside your college work, as well as like things like Henry House that you've picked up? Other things that you like to do to relax away from work?
I normally do some colouring, or I normally just read a book, really.
Yeah.
Or I normally just make something up, really. That's what I normally do, really.
Good. You got to remember that sometimes it's kind to be selfish when it comes to relaxation and finding the distractions away from the challenges of life. We've got a couple of comments coming. Karen Campbell says, I'm sorry I'm late to the party. Well, welcome. You're welcome to the party. It doesn't matter how late you are. Abby says, Kathy Chilton, don't worry, Gareth is just as bad as I'm his assistant and he doesn't tell me much. Yes. It's like you get nothing from Gareth and then everything all at once, like today. It's amazing. I love him. Kathy also says, brilliant, Simon. My world entirely. Forgetting the simplest thing. Sometimes it's like you can remember, like, we're talking like a movie and an A-list star, and it's the most obvious thing, and it just goes at your head, and it drives you insane, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It is. I mean, another problem I have is remembering people's names who I've worked with some time ago.
Yeah.
Now, in theatre land, when you're working with people, and it may be for 3 or 4 months on a tour, you do get into the habit of referring to each other as your character's name. And then you realise you can't remember the actor's real name.
Yeah, I wonder how many times Johnny Depp got called Jack on the set of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, what's his name? Richard Attenborough. He heard this reputation of sort of going, "Oh, darling, how are you?" and "Oh, yes, lovely." It's because he just couldn't remember people's names. And which I now, you
relate to.
Some actors could get offended that he couldn't remember their name, but I understand it.
Steve is in the chat. He says, Steve Williams. He says, "What's your favorite book to read, AJ? Or what are you reading currently?" Question goes to everybody.
I read. Oh.
No, go on. You've got it. Yeah.
I read a variety of books, actually. Twisted Tale, Harry Potter,
wow,
the Villains series. But yeah.
I can't find it at the moment, but I am reading a book written by Simon Bell, He's a local Shrewsbury author, and it's a book about Auschwitz, which obviously is not very jolly to talk about on a podcast, but I'm doing research so I can get him on as a guest, and he's a very, very eloquent writer. So, yes, I'm reading that at the moment, but I'm learning. Luke, do you like to read?
Yeah, occasionally. So I often end up having about 2 or 3 books on the go that I bounce between. One of which I can't reveal because it relates to a top secret rocking horse project, but you'll find out soon enough. But the one I'm reading at the moment is This Is Going to Hurt, which was recently the BBC series about the Diaries of a Junior Doctor, written by Adam Kay. That's quite a difficult read at times, but also very funny. But of course, since Simon probably won't, let push Simon's book. That's out, all 3 of them. My Dalek Has a Puncture and its sequels. I have read several times.
Wonderful. Simon, are you reading anything at the moment?
Well, actually, yes. A sort of belated thing. I've got this. It's just by me. It's Sandy Togsvig's Almanac, and really, it's a book sort of promoting talented women throughout history, because Sandy takes the view that quite a few historical characters are ignored. There's one that comes to mind is an Alice Bell. She was born in 1880 something. She was from Hawaii. She was a native Hawaiian, and she became the first female to get a chemistry degree in Hawaii at the Hawaii University, and she ultimately became its professor at a very young age. She's the creator of the cure for leprosy.
Wonderful.
But in her time, her senior took the credit because he was male.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of that throughout his history.
Celebrate your women, people. Celebrate your women. Actually, they deserve it as much.
Fight the power.
Fight the power. Yes,
yeah.
Amy.
I mean, because things are very weird, aren't they? Because there is the saying that behind every great politician is a strong woman, and that came about in the Victorian era. That phrase, but of course that doesn't apply. But I just find it bizarre. Yeah.
Everybody get in the comments with what books you're reading at the moment. I think it's always interesting. Karen says, Luke Allen, secret project, huh? And Abby says, I'm reading a story on a site called Webtoon. The story is called Law Olympus. Very good story on Persephone and Hades. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's really good. Kathy says, AJ, don't miss Dot and dancing duo with Anna in Street Dance. You were incredible. You like to dance?
Yeah. I do contemporary and street dance. I can also do this thing with a chair, really, but it requires swinging it and jumping off it, really.
Wow. I struggle sitting on a chair. I'm like, getting off a chair. So it's amazing that you can incorporate a chair into a dance routine. Steve says, I'm glad you're enjoying reading Harry Potter. Well, I hope your favorite character is the Friar in Hufflepuff, because he's on the podcast right now, Mr. Simon Fisher-Becker. Yeah. Gareth says, wasn't she just? I was talking to Anna about her and AJ's time together in Dot, and she had only good things to say. Wonderful. Yes. And Poppy Summers Hayward says, hi, everyone. She says, nice to see Amy in the box. And Luke Allen's in the chat. Luke, whether he's on the podcast or not. He says, all being well, you'll find out in the new year about this secret project. Okay, right. The comments are coming in, but we need to move. We have got so much to talk about. Rocking Horse is working on an awful lot. Let's do this in order because I've got a huge list to talk about. First of all, we need to mention Jodie Breakwell, one of Henry House's background artists, recently performed as the main role of Fiona in the Shrek the musical at Theatre Havren, which we did promote in the last show. It was a massive success, apparently. Gareth went to see the show and was rewarded Jodie with a bigger role in Henry House because of it. Here's some pictures of Jodie here with the poster. And there she is. She looks fantastic. Well done. Well done, Jodie. That looks amazing. Orla as well. She's the star of Henry House. And she's been very busy. She'll finally return to the podcast next month. She's going to come back on. We'll catch up with her, see what she's been up to properly. Well, she's also been busy taking part in the Scare Theatre for the first time with Doncaster Fear Factory. But as you'd expect from the face of Rocking Horse, being new to it, it didn't stop her from the team from picking up an award for the best maze. And there's the poster from that. Well done, Orla. Always putting 100% into everything. You can also support Dean Raymond, our very own Dean Raymond, Alid there, who is you can support him. He's at the Jack and the Beanstalk at the pantomime at Liverpool's Hope Street Theatre this Christmas. So there's a poster there, and you can support him with that. Also, you may have seen pictures of Gareth and Dean as well in Wrexham. They've been walking around. This is fantastic. So there's Gareth there. He sent me that. He sent me that picture to show on the show. So if you're seeing that picture and Gareth's going, "Why did I send that in?" That's because he sent it. There's Dean as well. And there they are in the Wrexham shirts. And there you go. That's the landlord there of the Turf. If you guys have been watching Welcome to Wrexham, which, by the way, won a Critics' Choice Award for best sports documentary. So well done to the guys for that.
Oh, it's fantastic. I know diddly squat about football and I was hooked. Like, it's great. It's yeah.
I'm a huge Rob McElhenney. Anybody that takes an idea with next to nothing, no budget, and turns it into something as groundbreaking as Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a staple of TV. Anybody that can do that, I'm a big, huge fan of. So I'm more excited about Rob McElhenney than the Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds, everybody's excited about him, isn't it? Everybody loves him. But Rob McElhenney is an amazing industrious.
And Rob's name keeps getting missed off in all of these conversations. So yeah, I definitely agree. He's Always Sunny is great.
Well, they've been busy in the fact that the Turf, that the now world famous pub alongside the stadium, is now going to be part of the set for Henry House. There's going to be scenes filmed there. It's a very exciting prospect. Where were we? Wrexham on the last show. I'm reading this. This is like a script. It's fantastic. And so now we can officially announce that scenes of Henry House will be filmed in the iconic local pub, which is ingrained in the culture of Wrexham Football Club, and also featured in the show Welcome to Wrexham was the band the Declan Swans. They say I have got a YouTube link, but I'm not playing it, Gareth, because we will get booted off Facebook. I know we will. So check out the Declan Swans. Look for them on YouTube because they have a new music video coming out, which is going to be produced by Rocking Horse Media. So they've been getting out in Wrexham, meeting new people, and looking for new opportunities, and they have found them. So congratulations to Gareth and the team. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes from this. I grew up in Wrexham. Did you know? I actually grew up there, and so seeing all the film crews and stuff in Wrexham is just a bit weird for me. Seeing places where I grew up and walked to school, and it's a bit odd, Yeah. But so yeah, that's what's going on in Wrexham. But there are a few people on the set that are from famous projects, like, I don't know, Doctor Who. Here we have 3 people that have been in Doctor Who, but we also have we got a teaser that we're going to be bringing someone else in from Doctor Who into. Do you know about this, Simon? Do you guys all do you guys all kind of know each other and see each other on the Comic-Con trails and stuff?
I'm not in a position to say. One of my next projects, I'm playing a politician, so that's will be my answer.
I love that.
As you know, it is a collective responsibility, and it's not for me to say. You have to wait until it's announced in the House. Well, we on the next one. What I can say, It's not William Hartnell. It's not Patrick Troughton. And alas, it's not John Pertwee either.
And we asked David Tennant for a comment, and he said no comment. So I'm just saying, like, it could be anybody.
Could be. But it's very, very exciting. And
Yes.
yeah, it's may or may not be related to the book that I'm reading that I can't reveal. But you'll all have to find out fairly soon.
I'm kind of struggling at the moment because I've been doing a bit of work with Alex Westwood, who you guys all know, and he keeps trying to get me to. I'm sorry, Simon. I'm sorry to everybody that loves Doctor. I've never been able to get into it. I love my Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I'm a big nerd. I'm a big geek. I love the world of sci-fi, but I've never been able to get into Doctor Who, and I keep trying. But I just can't do it. I don't know what it is.
Put on any episode of Doctor Who, and the likelihood is you'll go, "That's that bloke from Henry House," because there's one of them. We're stealing them all one by
exactly.
one.
Soon,
yes.
It's, right. Okay. So before we go into the next bit, I forgot to play the trailer for Penny for Your Thoughts. We're going to play this now to enjoy, and no, I'll tell you what. We'll save that for the end because it makes no sense to play it now. What I'm going to do. Simon, I'm going to play Bigger on the Inside, the trailer that you've got, and then we're going to talk about that, if that's okay. So here is the video I got sent for Bigger on the Inside. Enjoy.
As an actor, I've often been accused of not living in the real world. As a fat person, I've been criticised for being lazy, non-productive, and a burden on the NHS.
Or where they would have.
As a person with mobility issues, I've witnessed the bigotry and discrimination thrown towards those requiring consideration in the workplace.
That sort of thing shouldn't happen, particularly if you're trying to get a toilet very, very quickly.
Most of these comments come from people who are simply repeating a mantra with no thought process at all, and from those who are hypnotised by a soundbite. To these people, can I remind you of certain idioms? Never judge a book by its cover. And don't criticise someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Please accept my invitation.
First floor, this is what we need.
Follow my path into the real world. Meet my friends, colleagues and others with disability and discover their world and the challenges they endure every day.
The nurses are wonderful. They come in and blame the others. Someone else blame. They've all got someone else they blame.
Right.
But none of them are to blame. They just need the right money and the right control.
In doing so, I hope you will appreciate those with a disability are not moaning minis, have a lot to offer the community, and far from being the little people, they are bigger on the inside.
Well done. That's really nice. It's very thought-provoking. And Simon, what inspired you to make something like this? I mean, obviously...
I've always wanted to make some sort of documentary, and how Big on the Inside came about, I'm a little uncertain. I don't know whether it was Gareth that suggested that I would get involved with the documentary or not. I cannot. Can you remind me, Luke?
He was slowly stealing everyone on the set of Reduced to Clear, I think.
Yes.
He was going up to people and pitching projects to them. But I think you were in brief communications with him before then.
Yes, it was. I think, in fairness to Gareth, he approached me about doing the documentary, at which I said I've always wanted to do some sort of documentary and to highlight things because it is frustrating for people with a disability
Sure.
The mindset has changed, I have to say. I mean, 30 years ago, people's attitude to people was far worse than what it is today. As somebody who wasn't disabled and has become immobile, shall we say, the main frustration is not being taken seriously. assuming that you can't do a job that you're applying for, or saying things will be too complicated.
Yeah. Where do these problems come from, though? Is it from the high up staff?
I think it's ignorance.
Yeah.
It is, in my opinion. There's a lot of what's the phrase? For example, the Equalities Act came in, and that did make a marked improvement in things. And one of the things is accessibility for people, particularly those in wheelchairs. And it is amusing, although frustrating at the same time, that in practice, it's just a lip serve, I suppose. For example, many a time I've gone to a hotel and they say, yes, we provide accessible rooms for the disabled. And yes, the bathrooms have got, because I think the rule is at least 5 grab bars. Then when you go into the bathroom, you find that the grab bars are on the completely opposite side of the wall of where the shower is or the bath is. So, but we've got the 5 grab bars. But
I'm not 7.5 feet tall.
And my arms aren't 10 feet long. Likewise, you have the dips in pavement, so people can cross the road easily. You get the dip to take you across the road, and the other side, the dip to get back on the pavement on the other side is actually 200 yards down the rood.
So I'll just become a car then, shall I? I'll just become a car.
And so there's what other things that do amuse me? On a personal basis, I do find having to pull a door open is quite difficult when you're in a wheelchair or on a scooter.
I imagine. Yeah.
I mean, I've developed a style to do it. What I will say is a lot of people are very friendly and very helpful. Sometimes they can get a little smothering with the help rather than mothering. But I'm not going to complain about it. I'd rather be smothered than have no help at all.
I feel like if they put you in that position, though, they put you in that position where you're struggling with the door, the damage is already done.
Yes.
You know, it should be just accessible.
It's just a bit of a forethought, really. And I always find there's all sorts of excuses at hotels. You find sometimes the disabled rooms are at the far end of the building, miles and miles and miles along a whole maze of corridors. They'll have their reason for doing it.
Sarah says accessibility is much more than just providing a ramp into a building. Karen says bravo, you know.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of things. The number of hotels or public buildings that they do have the ramp outside so you can get into the building, but then to go to the reception you have to walk up 5 steps. You know, it's
only 5. It's fine. It's only 5 steps. It's fine.
But there we go.
Doesn't make sense.
And occasionally you do get people going, but it doesn't help.
It's sometimes it's things that people just don't think about. I mean, with the Shrewsbury Biscuit, we spoke to Signal, hard of hearing charity, a couple of years ago, just after the pandemic. It's kind of just coming out of it when people can just sit in coffee shops and they have to be surrounded by perspex, plastic everywhere. And we were talking about face masks and lip readers. You know, like sometimes somebody's hard of hearing will go into a store and not understand what's going on because they can't lip read. You know, it's something that's just complete oversight, you know, on these things. Abby says, very frustrating for people with hidden disabilities as well. I have to send evidence to prove I have dyslexia and Erlen when I need extra help.
I definitely. Sorry.
That's right. I was going to say, Gareth says, and you can always tell when someone who's not disabled has come up with the accessibility plans. And Kathy says, here to Sarah Mahoney, who says accessibility is much more than just providing the ramp earlier. So yeah, what was you saying, Luke? Sorry.
I was saying in response to Abby's thing, I've definitely kind of felt that because I have dyspraxia. I don't actually talk about it that much, but it means that the communication between my brain and the rest of my body is a little bit hindered, a little bit different, affects coordination and things like that. And I remember when I was in secondary school, there was about a year or so of constantly being thought of as lazy and not participating within PE before I spoke to them, and it turned out the record never been passed over that I had dyspraxia, and they just thought I wasn't trying. And that sort of thing is just rough. And I think it's hidden disabilities are still kind of treated as not proper disabilities, and that you're kind of making a fuss about nothing. And I think I think we're moving slowly to a more accessible thing, but yeah, there's nowhere near enough things in place.
Absolutely.
I just wish to say that I'm very lucky. I've had a lot of work with the BBC, and they're actually in the main very understanding. They can be borderline smothering with sorting things out. It has been suggested at times that if there is a disabled person, particularly if they're in a wheelchair, that they have to have a carer with them. And I did have an issue because Tony, my husband, is my carer too. And and on one production, they wouldn't accept him as my carer because he's not professionally qualified as a carer. But my argument was, well, he cares for me all the time, 24/7.
He lives with me.
Yeah,
He can be anybody more qualified.
So in many ways, he's in a better position than somebody who's actually qualified.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think what does go out of the window is common sense sometimes. There was a production, not a BBC production, I was on, and suddenly during the read-through, somebody came up to me with a clipboard and halitosis to tell me that there was a problem with my insurance, and that would I pay for the insurance, which of course is an appalling thing to say. So I said I'll discuss it with my agent, but I'm telling you, if I do pay it and you don't call upon the insurance company because of me, then I will want double the premium back. Right. She went away, and I heard nothing.
Yeah,
but they try it on. But it is actually that sort of situation is quite insulting, really. As Amy will concede, acting and performing is more of a challenge than some people would consider.
Yeah, I feel like acting in general. I went to auditions. I was on the panel for auditions a while ago, and these young women were like quickly glancing at scripts. No. Okay, got it. Bam, and they were in the scene, and I was like, "How did you do?" I don't understand how people can remember scripts. How good are you at remembering scripts, Amy? Can you remember lines and things?
Yeah, I still remember my Evil Queen lines, to be honest.
Way amazing, fantastic. I haven't got that memory process. I'm all right with names and faces and stuff, but it gets a bit fuzzy after a bit. Speaking of Amy, I want to speak to Amy. By the way, Simon, when can we expect the documentary? Is there an ETA for release, or when you guys are going to be filming it?
Oh, you need to talk to Luke about that,
Mr. Allen.
Yeah, so it's been in the works for just over a year. I took over a few months ago when Gareth finally realised that maybe making a feature-length TV pilot and a documentary is a bit too much, and phoned me up and went, "Luke, you've been working on it. Do you want to take over?" So I think it's fair to say, Simon, we're nearly done filming-wise. We've only got a few bits left to do. We met up and we'd prepared a whiteboard of everything we've got, how it all fits in. And we only had a couple more bits left to film, but as we've all discussed, availabilities and things, we've got to get around that. Then we've got to edit it. So I'd say at the earliest, maybe 6 months from now, it could be out. At the latest, who knows? But it's closer to done than it is to starting.
Well, anybody who's watching the show now, we will bring it to you when it's out and ready to be shown to the world. We'll bring Simon back on, and Luke and Gareth as well, and we'll show you guys where people can find it. And sort of like I'd like to talk about the feedback and any nice comments you've had about it, and anybody that might jump on board trying to help you raise awareness. I think that's the important
partnership
thing.
with Rockin' Horse and Derwen has come in.
Derwen, yeah, of course.
We started the documentary, so
yeah.
We need to find a way of featuring that, because the work that Derwen do is absolutely incredible, absolutely. And really needs to be featured.
All right, so we're running short on time, but I want to give Amy her dues because she's an award winner and a fantastic person. And I want to show you guys a video that we have. I'm going to try and share the screen. I'm terrible at sharing the screen, but this is a video that I want you guys to pay attention to. It's a couple of minutes long, but it'll explain how amazing Amy is. So here we go. Take a look at this, please. Oh, yeah, I got to press play, haven't I?
Hi, I'm Amy, and I study performing arts at Derwen College. I got a learning disability. On my left eye, it doesn't work. I also have autism.
Amy is an inspirational young lady with a hormone deficiency. She's a force to be reckoned with.
I just love performing arts. It's a part of who I am.
She has embraced every opportunity within performing arts.
We tell stories to kids. One story that we did was Little Red Riding Hood. I wanted to try and make it a little bit funny, but, just keep to the classic fairy tale, really.
Amy's shown the capability and skills and talent to be able to take on leading roles.
They wanted me to write something about disabilities, and I wrote a bit of a piece, and they said, Amy, we love it. We want you to stick it in the summer show. And I'm like, what?
She has also represented the college on the Student Union Board, being president 2 years running.
I feel like I wanted to give something back because Derwen let me in here and it's like a second home.
She did the opening speech at a conference in front of hundreds of people, all about further education and the impact of that and how it's changed her life.
I write speeches because I think it's important and empowering for, people like me to speak up.
During a time here, we spent some time working with a local TV and theatre company. They are currently working on a film. Amy was spotted.
They told me about the role and I was like, oh!
Amy is part of Henry House. It is based on a care home.
My character is called Lana.
They have actually written that role for her.
Judging by the script, really, her and me are probably the same. We both got big ears and we're both, speak up for ourselves, really, I suppose.
Wonderful. I had to mute myself then because it was coming from my laptop. I didn't want it to echo. But wonderful stuff, Amy. Let's get rid of that. Oh, gosh. Got Harry Mack playing now. Shout out to Harry Mack. You can guess what I was listening to before I came in. You're an award winner. How important is performing arts to you, Amy?
It's very important. When I was a little girl, I had a variety of costumes. I had a vampire costume, Disney princess costumes. I had a witch costume. They even dressed me up on Halloween as a witch, and my hair was all like a wicked witch's hair, like a mad scientist.
Wonderful,
really.
Wonderful. And when you're playing a particular part, is it nice being able to play different characters that do different things? Sometimes you can be a baddie, sometimes you can do something fun, sometimes you can do like a drama. Do you like switching up now and again with different roles?
Oh, yeah, I think it's very... I like the challenge, really, of different roles, really. I've played a variety of roles, really, from Belle from Beauty and the Beast to the Evil Queen to Alice in Wonderland and so on, really.
Wow, two different, hugely contrasting characters. One that's... all light and princessy, and one that's really bad. I love that. That's fantastic. How adding your own spin on things. You mentioned in the video you like to do things your own way. How important is it for you to do things in your own way, even if it means like rewriting things and changing things up a little bit?
I like working together as a team, but sometimes you've got to do stuff your own way as well. no offense to anyone who's watching, really.
No, it's important to have someone that will speak out and be like, no, this needs to be this way because it makes a little bit more sense. If this is me as a character, I would do it a certain way. This dialogue doesn't roll off the tongue. Maybe I should say it this way instead. You know, sometimes you need those people in the industry to be able to make sure things feel natural and that they roll in a certain way. And, you know, it's I was chatting to your mom before we came on the show, and she mentioned that you won your gold in the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which I got as far as bronze, and I was like, that's enough for me. I got a bronze, it's fine. You got a gold in the Duke of Edinburgh Award, but you're also you're the Student of the Year across the whole country. What does that mean to you?
It means I can inspire people with a disability like me who can follow their dreams, really. And it's very important, no matter what dream it is. We all have a dream, no matter who we are, who we love, what religion, and what our disability is, really.
I think it's fantastic. You know, it seems like it's very natural for you to become a leader, to someone to inspire. And maybe that's why you won Student of the Year. It feels like there's a lot of young students out there that look up to you. Is that important to you?
It's very important to have a role model, really.
Lovely.
There are these role models today, but some of them don't have certain disabilities. I mean, like, there needs to be a role model for each disability, really. And, well, I want to give the people with my disability that, really. And not just mine, but all the others as well, really, if they can.
Amy, I've been interviewing lots and lots of people this month. I've been very busy with the Shrewsbury Biscuit and amongst other things. That's probably one of the most inspiring things I've heard in a very, very long, from the bottom of my heart. That is really, really wonderful to hear. Thank you for being you, seriously. What's it been like working with Rocking Horse? Obviously, we spoke earlier about how it felt getting that roll through from the workshop, but how does it feel working with these people? Do you feel like you fit in? Do you feel like they're nice people? I mean, how is it for you, really?
They are very bonkers at times, but like, I like it. Like, I've stepped into a madhouse, which it's supposed to be. Henry House is meant to be a madhouse.
So you feel very much at home in Rocking Horse that's wonderful. And do you have anything in common? You say that you and Lana, your character, you're basically the same. What do you guys have in common? When you saw the part, did you like, oh, that's me, that's me, that's me? What is it that you guys have in common?
Well, we're both earwiggers, for one. I feel like she's an earwigger, but I also feel like she's like a spy in her own world, really. But judging by the character, I feel like she's got more emotions than I have, really. That she's more angrier, more upset, more, evolved than most characters really can be, really.
That's nice. It means that you'll be able to play the role. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry, guys. This happens while again. It means that you can. Gosh, it means that you can play the role naturally because it feels natural because it is you, just a bit amplified, I guess.
Yeah. I'm
sorry to cut you off there, Amy. That was so unfortunate. Hi, Simon. You got something?
Yes. I'm going to have to go soon.
Yes, we're rounding up now. I'm very sorry we ran over. We're meant to be a 45-minute show. We've just been chatting, haven't we? We'll quickly get into the comments. I won't do them all, I'm afraid, because we've got to get out of here. But Steve Williams says, fantastic stuff, AJ. And Kate Harris says, wowzers, Amy, amazing work. And Abby says, she did the Princess Trust, and it was the best experience I had. Anybody that does that, fantastic. Go and make sure you do that. Kathy says, well said, Amy. Honestly, that was really inspirational. You saying that you standing up for people just like you is very, very important. And Gareth says, you are an inspiration, Amy. You really are. And Gareth says, Al, remember that little message we have for Amy from a certain someone? Yes, let's have a look here. I don't think I downloaded it. This is sorry. I'm getting it now. I'm uploading that. There was quite a bit to set up with the studio, so I'm very sorry that. But we do have a message for you. Let's have a look. Have we got it ready? I'm pretty sure we have. Here we go. Here's a message for you from a very certain someone. Let's have a look at this.
When I first met Amy, I was completely blown away. Her confidence shone throughout the room. What she was doing, how she was acting, and not just during scene work, but in every day. The way she approached things, the way she spoke to people, just overall, an amazing person. She's always smiling, she's always got a joke to tell, and she's really dedicated to her work, and she believes that she can make a difference for people like her. And if anything, that's what drew us to her. Me and Gareth, as soon as we saw her, we spoke and we said we can't let her leave this workshop today without offering her a part. A part we had been thinking about for a while and kind of creating, but we didn't really have a solid factor and a characteristic, and Amy just brought that to life. So I cannot wait to see how she works with us later down the line in developing her character, Lana.
There we go. Thank you so much for that. Where's the right thing? There we go. Sorry. It's one of those days today. Thank you so much for that, all. A really nice message, and I think she means that. You're welcome to the crew, Amy. You've made an impact, and the fact that you are as inspirational as you are just means that we can all work together in raising that awareness in the most natural way. Right, we're going to start rounding up now, guys. Thank you so much. Has anybody got any messages before we leave? Anybody got anything to add? No.
Not that wouldn't go into another hour long.
Yeah, of course. Your wonderful comments have kept this show going, so thank you so much for everybody that's commented. Please give this a share for anybody that might want to watch this later. I got a thing to plug before we get out of here. The Shoes with Biscuit podcast, which is where my podcast, which is in partnership with Rock and Horse. For this, the Shoes Biscuit podcast is going through a metamorphosis. There's a new logo, got a brand new state-of-the-art website coming out thanks to the guys at Web Orchard. If you need a website making, they will make the perfect website for you. They showed me the new website they're going to make for me at a meeting last week, and I nearly cried because it's beautiful. It really is. So if you need a website, make sure you check out the Web Orchard. We have to get out of here, folks. We've run way over. But thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in a few weeks' time with lots more updates. Thank you for my guests. Thank you for the listeners. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, everyone.